Good evening, sir.
Erev Tov, Rabbi Prague, how are you?
טוב, ערב טוב, יופי, מה שלומך?
בסדר, הכל בסדר.
Good. איך עבר היום בארצנו הקדושה?
אני חושב שקט.
ברוך השם. I have a friend, Rabbi Kramer, he likes to listen always to Channel 14, you know, all the religious Zionistic station. He says to me, he's fed up, I mean, לשמוע את הקטטות של כל אחד ואחד.
Oh. Netanyahu says that, what's his name? Eisenkopf shouldn't have security protection. He should have security. He shouldn't. Then they already defaced Eisenkopf's kid's grave. I mean, it's a low human. It's our own people. It's the...
זה מה, תבין, אין לנו בכלל כבוד אחד לשני, זה אני כותב.
No. All over, not just there, here too. And no one listens to the other person. No one respects the other person. It's...
Yeah. אתה קורא מדורות קודמים, אפילו שהיו מתקוטטים, ואפילו שהיו מתווכחים, אז היה על issues, אז זה לא, it didn't become a personal. Briskin has a very interesting story in his book. He says that when he formed the first, you know, the original minion, the Lincoln Square first minion, there was one of the Balabatim there that really, it's absolutely really caused them a lot of problems. But and then every time they had a meeting, there was a, whatever Briskin suggested, the opposite, one of these people. But here, this man unfortunately suffered a heart attack. After 2 days, Rabbi Briskin says, I want to visit him. He says, he opens his eyes and he says to me, Rabbi, what are you doing? I said, what are you doing? You're a member of my congregation. He says, but right. Me and you. He says, me and you have arguments and issues. You have the right to disagree with me and I have the right to say what I think is right. This has nothing to do with you need help now. He says, this man, he became his biggest support. But this is the point. The point of the story is, I'm not disagreeing with you because it's you, because I think that your idea about the shul, about the community, about this, about that, is the wrong idea. And nothing to do with you. But today we take everything so personal. I knew two friends, they were both of them real doers. They build. You know what Kriyat Noar is? Kriyat Noar originally was in Beit Vegan, was a yeshiva tichoni. They really prepared the kids for the army. They prepared them to become professionals, but the army used to demand, they wanted graduates of this high school. But naturally, this is two people who each one was very strong, very capable, but eventually they had a rift and they separated. By here, After they separated, this was not an easy separation.
Zum gesund.
What?
Zum gesund.
Thank you. So this fellow that really stayed with in the helm of the school, unfortunately lost his son. So the ex-partner came to pay a shiva call. And he says to him, listen, I had a similar tragedy. I feel exactly how you feel. I think it's time to finish. This is two great people, you understand? It's good to disagree, and this was a real big institution, 1,200 students. But enough is enough, but זה הבעיה של החיים. אבל זה לא ייתכן, לא ייתכן שבארץ יהיה שלום עם הערבים, אם אנחנו בינינו. We cannot get along with each other. חבל, זה חבל מאוד. This is it. Let's go a second to last week's parasha, Perek Chavdaled. Let's read. I would like to show you in this last week's parasha there are many, many, many psukim. But all the halachot that we know or don't know, kimat katuv befurush b'pasuk. Look a second. This is the topic of divorce, but listen carefully. It's a fascinating halachot. Ki yikach ish isha ube'ala. A man doesn't have to have a relationship with his wife to become his wife. If he presents his wife with money, Ariat Mekudeshet li, or he gives her a document and it says in the Ariat Mekudeshet li, she's Mekudeshet Midoraita. So the Gemara learns here two halachot. Ki yikach ish isha kama. How? Bekesef. Ube'ala. A man can marry a woman by having relationship l'shem kiddushin, which means the same way that in every wedding ceremony we have two witnesses who see the groom presenting the bride with a coin or a ring, Ariat Mekudeshet. If a man says to two witnesses, I'm going to the room with this woman to have a relationship l'shem kiddushin, she is Mekudeshet min haTorah. However, in the time of the Amoraim, Rav is the first generation of the Amoraim. The Gemara says that Rav used to give 39 lashes to a man who was Mekadesh B'Biyah. Why? Biyah because it became hefker, you understand? So here you have Ki yikach ish isha, he married a woman bekesef, let's say, ube'ala, v'haya, im lo timtza chen be'enav. Yes? Ki matzava erva davar. Why is the Torah adding Ki matzava erva davar? Erva davar means that the type of wrongdoing that she is doing is not that she gets upset too often, or not because she is spending too much money. Skimatzaba erbat davar. Because of this pasuk, the Gemara said, the Mishnah says, that the person should not divorce his wife unless of course, most divorces are not because of that, but it's easy, much easier to solve personal differences. Easy, it's a relatively word, but matzava erva means something is missing in your character. הבעיה היא לא תמצא חן בעיניו, כי מצבה erva davar. How do we know, listen good now, that in every serious dispute you need two witnesses? Here, כי מצא בה ערוות דבר. It says, על פי שניים עדים יקום דבר. So the Gemara learns out, the Gemara in Gittin, נאמר כאן דבר, כי מצא בה ערוות דבר, ונאמר להלן, מפרשת, it says before in פרשת שופטים, על פי שניים עדים יקום דבר, מה להלן בשני עדים, אף כאן בשני עדים. This is the source that, especially by Gittin, Kiddushin, Chalitza, you must have two witnesses. By Dinei Mamonot, let's say if I have a dispute with someone, if we trust each other, you don't need Eidim. But the Gemara is saying it pays to have Eidim to avoid the future disagreements. But the act, if I want to sell something to Larry, if we trust each other, giving him the opportunity to make Akba'ah, Meshicha, or Kinyan is enough. By a marriage, the Gemara says, even if the husband and the wife admit, we are married to each other, we got married, they're not married. Of course, the same exactly is by divorce. However, divorce, theoretically, can be slightly different. By Kiddushin, there is no proof. If a woman would present a beautiful ring, beautiful, engraved, what is the proof that he married you? We have a proof that he gave it to you, maybe, but not for Kiddushin. The Gemara says, but if she is holding a divorce paper signed by witnesses, and we have witnesses that he gave it to her, then she is divorced. Okay, some Rishonim say that even if there are no witnesses that gave it to her, the fact she has this document that we know was held by him, now it's by her. So this is כי מצא בה ערוות דבר וכתב לה, listen carefully now, וכתב לה. מה זה וכתב לה? וכתב ספר כריתות. Learns the Gemara, the get has to be written lishma, which means when the husband is, first of all, the pasuk says that the husband should write the katavla. Since we know the rule of shlucho shel adam kemoto, so the sofer is the shaliach of the husband, not the wife. And the shaliach has to tell him, please write a divorce paper, Leshem Reuven ben Yaakov, who is divorcing Serach bat Asher, זה נקרא בכתב לה, for her sake. Says the Gemara, you have two men and two women have the same name. And Reuven Aleph wrote a get for his wife and he changed his mind. He happens to have a friend that has exactly the same name and the wives have the same name. The divorce paper cannot be used by his friend because of this pasuk bekatav la.
It's the same thing. Not every time the safra la, the katav la, lekachtem lachem, all the time. It's
shama. אתה צודק, אבל שמה לומדים לכם משלכם. וספרתם לכם, each one of you, it's not enough to be. Here is בכתב לה, it's a unique case. And you could have said, let's take this following example. I borrowed from Salim $10,000. Okay? Now, there are two ways to do it. Either someone would write down, Zelig Prague borrowed from Salim Bambaji $10,000 and this is the state to be paid in 4 months, finish Mutsuyan. Or I can write, but this has to be my handwriting. I owe Salim Mambaji $10,000 because I borrowed it on this and this day. It doesn't have to be written as Shem Salim Mambaji. So if Mr. X borrowed 10,000 from Mr. Y and he paid him back, Zalik Prague can reuse the same studies. There are no halachot of lishma, by a get, the document has to be written l'shem ha'ish v'l'shem ha'isha. So if two people have the same name, and then one wrote halachically correct, but then they changed their mind and he did not divorce her, the same document cannot be used, even though by the first couple it was perfect, by the second it's not. Okay, you do realize, of course, there are many other reasons why it's not good to use another document. Let's say if I borrow money from someone, the lender has a lien on my property from the day I bought, yeah? I'm sorry, the day I borrowed. So it's not good, but theoretically speaking, shtar is a document. If the details are correct, the dates and the amounts are correct, it's fine. By a get, the husband has to appoint the sofer shaliach, he has to give the sofer the names, and the sofer has to say or to have in mind, I'm hiding it for the divorce.
At the beginning today, you talked about how would you put it? It's a davar shebik. A get sounds like a
דבר שבערווה, זה נקרא אין דבר שבערווה בחוץ מדי. אתה מבין?
No, but I'm saying it's a davar shebikdusha. A get seems like, and the other one is mamonut, and this is a kedusha.
לא קוראים לזה דבר שבקדושה.
I don't know. Okay,
קוראים
sorry.
לזה דבר שבערווה. דבר שבקדושה זה קדיש, בואו, זה הסטורה, כן? זה נקרא דבר, אין דבר שבקדושה פחות מ10. Here, אין דבר שבערווה פחות מ2. Now, not only, so למשל, if I would make a shaliach to deliver a divorce paper, the Rambam says I have to have witnesses that he is my shaliach, yes? At the wedding ceremony, did you ever think about it? The most important kibbud in the wedding ceremony are the two witnesses, yes? The two witnesses that saw how the groom presented the bride with the ring or the coin. The woman cannot be divorced unless there are two witnesses.
Isn't that we have that where you taught us, I believe in Breshit, I forgot which one of the Avot, it had to be Yitzchak, Avram.
Right.
That they came, but they said Hagmalim, and there were 10 people, there was an Eidah.
Right, okay, יפה שאתה זוכר. תוספות עם כתובות say, how do we know that the wedding, you need 10 people, ויקח אליעזר 10 גמלים מגמלי אדוניו, when he finally, remember, Eliezer is a shliach
of Avram.
Not Avraham, but Yitzchak. Why? You have to be a shliach of the husband. Avraham was not the owner of Yitzchak. Remember, Yitzchak is not a youngster, yes? If Yitzchak is over bar mitzvah, his father cannot appoint a shaliach for him. He's a shaliach of Yitzchak. The property and the gifts that Eliezer took were given by Abraham, but a shliach is a shliach of Yitzchak. I mean, as a matter of fact, there's a very famous cute Torah. It says, "Belaban bikesh la'akor et hakol." Yes,
right.
La'akor et hakol means to uproot everything. Well, okay, so normally you learn. You wanted to kill this. Shema tov. Listen carefully. If I appoint a shaliach to be mekadesh a woman for me, and I tell him, listen, I trust very much your judgment. You know the type of woman I want. The looks, you see, she's fine, verified. Now, the shaliach died. We don't know which woman was in Mekadesh. The Gemara says the Meshaleach, Yitzchak, is asur v'chol nashim shebaolam. You hear this? Why?
Your sister?
Every woman
Arva.
might be the sister. Every woman might be the mother, might be. Since Laban wanted to kill Eliezer to take all the money away, and Eliezer is a shaliach, yes? So Laban bikesh la'akor et hakol. It's a very cute Torah. It's not perfect because מה זה אסור בכל נשים שבעולם? We know that Eliezer went to the area of Haran. Okay,
Right.
so go to the opposite continent, but theoretically speaking, he would not marry a woman but from that area. So this is
We don't. This is like a mi'ut. Why we choshesh on a mi'ut?
no, Salim. Assuming
If we don't know who he
Salim,
get married with, it's
Salim,
a 1 out of a billion that he got the right woman. That he's gonna marry the woman that's an arva to this woman. 1 of a billion. Why are you not choshesh on a mi'ut here?
no,
Why are you choshesh on a mi'ut? Sorry.
no, yeah. What is the miut here? Salim, which
He
miut?
went to a country to get married to somebody, and he doesn't know who he got married to. So
No,
now
no.
you're telling me all the ladies in the world, but any lady, even if it's in that country, it's 1 in a million, 1 in a billion.
Salim, half a year later, Yitzchak is going to marry another woman. Perhaps the woman that you're about to marry now is the sister of the one.
No, I understand what he's saying, but it's a mi'ut that it's the sister.
Every woman has relatives. Every woman has.
I know, but
We
if
know
you think
for
about the numbers,
sure-
like the chances that this lady that you're marrying is related is 1 in a million, 1 in a billion. Why you choshesh on the mi'ut?
Well, it's just
זה לא נקרא ללכת אחרי הרוב, זה כמו, it's not כמו קבוע. I know for sure that there is a woman out there that was married to this one. Okay, I mean, of course you can get one that doesn't have a sister, doesn't have a mother, doesn't have a mother-in-law, doesn't have whatever.
Right.
לא נקרא מיעוט, סלים, זה לא מיעוט הפירוש הוא have a רוב, a majority and minority. Okay, so we follow statistical majority. This is majority.
That's what I'm saying here. This is exactly what I'm saying.
No, but we know for sure that out there is a woman that is married.
I 100% agree. But the chances that the woman that you're marrying now, the second woman, that she is an arva to the original woman, is a mi'ut. It's
he's not saying a miut like you know it, Rabbi Prague.
No,
the
statistical.
saying the chances of it happening are so diminished.
That's right. So it's not.
This is Salim's question. Yes,
right. That's what he's trying to say.
No, but that I think that's what miut means. I don't know. If
But
that's exactly
but
what
Salim,
means, but the statistical.
if someone always wins the lottery.
No, I understand that, but why are you choshesh that?
Yeah, but I have to define it. I have to define the answer a little better. Maybe till tomorrow night. Maybe. Look a second. בכתב לספר כריתות, right? ונתן בידה. Look how many halachot we learn from here. וכתב לה, he has to write it, or appoint the שופר. לה לשמה. הספר כריתות, says the Gemara, listen carefully. When he gives her over the divorce paper, if the divorce paper is still connected to him, theoretically speaking, get beyada, I'm using a case from the Gemara, umeshicha beyadu. Here's a string. If he pulls it away from her, it's not benatan beyada. Natan beyada, she's completely in control of the sefer. Says the Gemara, how do I know that he can place the divorce paper in her house, in her car, in her briefcase? Yes. So the Gemara says yada, אין לי אלא ידה, גגה, חצרה, כרפופה מנין. עמוד לומר, ונתן בידה מכל מקום, because the Pasuk could have said, כתב לה סבר כריתות, ונתן לה, מה זה ונתן בידה? ונתן בידה כל מקום that legally נחשב ידה. The same way that if UPS delivers a package, Salim, to your private house, and you have a gate around here, and he puts it behind the gate, it's yours. You never got it. It's in your chatzer. Chatzero shel Adam kona lo. So if the divorce paper was delivered to El Chatzer, megureshet. Now,
So she doesn't have to put it physically in her hand.
correct.
How would you define then? It's so funny. The word to make a brit is a karat brit, and here is like, what is kritut? It sounds like.
זו שאלה חשובה מאוד.
Well, I mean, I don't see that.
בוא נתחיל פה לאלף בית. If you look in פרשת שלח, yes, what the serious כרת is written, מה זה עונש כרת? בעברית אני כורת את העץ. כורת הכוונה היא separate the tree.
Cut off.
But ספר כריתות, הגמרא אומרת, כורת בינו לבינה. When a person eats on Yom Kippur or Chametz בפסח and he gets karet, his neshama is being nichretet. She is cut off from the main, so to say, spine of life. זה המילה כריתות. ונתן בידה ושילחה מביתו. The Gemara says, if they remain in the same apartment, she's not divorced. She got the paper. She has to move out, of course, he should move out, זה לא משנה. ושילחה מביתו. Says the Gemara, let's say he is married to a minor. Her father married her off. Remember, when the father married her off, she is married midoraita.
But she can't become. She's not a baldas. How does she take it? How could she take it?
But how can she become married midoraita? Because the recipient of the Kiddushim is the father who represents his daughter.
Okay, but going to the end.
Okay, now let's go to the end. Very good. Says the Gemara, when can she become divorced? Only if she is capable of understanding the shilcha mebeito. Says the Gemara, I'm making it up now. If she's 6 years old, it's a game, but okay, I'm going back to my parents tomorrow, I'll come back. If she doesn't understand it by receiving the divorce, you are out of the house, she would not be divorced. עכשיו תקשיב טוב, הגמרא אומרת, Larry really raised a point. She's a minor. You cannot be Mekadesh a minor. This is why we said a second ago that the father receives on her behalf. But here's the but.
The flip side, when he gets divorced.
It is that you don't need the opinion of the woman, which means if the husband delivers the paper to the woman, even if she doesn't want it, the minute she has it, she's divorced.
Even if she's not a baldas?
Correct. This is the point, because there's no doubt. זה הפירוש ונתן בידה. As long as physically the divorce paper, the get is in.
Well, I agree with Larry here. A child cannot koneh something. They can't go to the market and koneh.
So of course you know the Tosafot say, not everyone agrees, but Tosafot say it many times, that if dat acheret makna, katan has a physical maaseh kinyan. If dol is makneh to the katan, So you have a combination of the dat of the gadol and the maaseh of the katan. This is why Tosafot say that.
So you're saying that a woman, any divorce, she has no say in the divorce.
Correct.
Right.
Not only in the divorce, in the reasons. I'm talking now about the act of the divorce.
Right. But the thing though is, if you
so approximately 1300 years ago, Rabbeinu Gershom Maor HaGolah came and he made a takana that a woman cannot be divorced against her will. But up to that period of time, at the time of the Gemara and the Mishnah, on the time of the biblical times, a man can divorce his wife without her saying a boo.
What does it mean against her will? Today you don't want to stay married, and she wants to stay married. What are you supposed to do?
You are reversing the case. She wants to divorce. She cannot force him either to give her. I'm saying in a time, Salim.
I'm saying today. Let's say the guy wants to get divorced, but the lady doesn't.
There's nothing we can do today. In the time of the Gemara, the same way that the Beit Din has a power to beat the husband seriously until he says yes. The Rambam says openly, it's obvious, but the Rambam says it. They'll beat the woman also, which means if the court has proves to her accusation against his behavior. We're not talking about not opening the door when she goes to the car or not bringing her a birthday gift when she's has a birthday. She's really abusive, this, that. We would force the husband to. So here's the problem. In our generation, it's against the will. It's against the law, yes? But even today, one of the ways to solve all these miskin ladies that the husband are holding them, agunot, is really to beat them up. So in the olden times...
Did someone go to jail for this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Many times.
Yeah.
It's like a famous story. They tried to...
It's not this. I mean, a few years ago, I'm not saying, a very sincere rabbi in Monsey did it a few times, but finally the police got him.
So it's scary if you're a woman and you lose your mind, yes, and your husband decides to divorce you.
Good question. So today, if she becomes legally shota, then he's married for her forever. However, the same Rabbeinu Gershom that said that a woman cannot be divorced against her will established something. If 100 rabbis sign a document that this man should be married to another woman, is permitted. So this is exactly what they do.
But you can't divorce the other one.
But the husband has to deposit in a respected rabbinic court a divorce paper for his first wife and say, at any given time, I am appointing you, the court, to be my shaliach. So
what kind of rabbis sit on that Meir Rabbanim court? That must be very... Oh, wow. I mean...
It's the same ones that we do the Hatarat Darim for.
Salim, Larry, the answer is...
Are these an elected rabbi? Who's
the first 5 are very serious rabbis. But when you see that Rabbi Wosner says, in my opinion, yes, she is crazy and he has to get married, and I recommend that he signs, so everyone that reads what he says, everyone follows it. It's not a decision of local rabbis.
I mean, 100 rabbis to agree on any...
No, but again, it's 95 plus 5. The first 5 are the real one.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, the good example that it was a very painful case. But there was a son of a very low name, but a son of a very, 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 very chashuv Rosh Yeshiva. his father died from cancer. And he was the right man to take over his father's yeshiva, which was a Titanic, a huge ship. His wife, who lived in Jerusalem, says, I'm not getting out of Israel. I want to stay here. And everyone told her, your husband also wants to stay in Jerusalem. But his father died, and he is the one to take over. When the biggest rabbis spoke to her this, she was, no. So in this case, the husband deposited the divorce paper in court that whenever she wants, she can come and take it.
I think the famous court case in New York was the Ziegler case. I think that was a famous case with Meir Rabbanim.
But I mean, Me'ar Rabbanim, normally it was invented if she is incapable to receive the get.
But what does incapable mean?
Well, the best example is she's in an institution, yes. But
what happens if she's just stubborn?
There's nothing you can do.
That's what the rabbi said before. They
There's
just
nothing.
like they hit the guy, they have to hit the lady. But I don't know how that's possible.
Fortunately, in the olden times, you used to beat them up. But
today, a woman can grow old before a man is.
Yes, it happened more than once. Unfortunately,
as the products, we don't have this problem, right? Because we never had the problem of marrying more. Never had the restriction of marrying only one woman.
But today, but it's illegal in the United States. Yeah.
Yeah, but you can get legally divorced in the United States without the consent of the other party. So it's still. So I'm saying politically, you can marry more than one woman. It's not a problem.
So, Mehida, Rabbi. So if she's mentally unstable, he has to be married to her for the rest of his life.
Oh no, she can be in an institution, but legally they are married. But she's in a different. She's in the institution.
Right. So
saying legally you cannot give her the divorce paper.
Right. So according to, I guess, the law, American law, you can't marry another woman because you're legally still married to her.
No. Halachically and legally married are separate things.
I think in cases like this, let's say the case you presented, is the court will understand that this is not really.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll let you know.
I think in America you don't need a two-party agreement to.
Okay, so forget about mentally. God forbid if she goes into an accident, goes into a coma.
Or something.
Exactly. But you see, people like Rabbi Frank, I'm talking about people who are giants, in situations like this, when she's used to talk to all the doctors, and they said 24/7, whenever you see for half an hour that she's stable, which means that her mind opens up, wake us up, whenever it is. Rav Frank, very often, in the middle of the night, 2 or 3 o'clock, used to take a taxi with 2 witnesses, let's run to the hospital. See, you need 5 or 10 minutes of clarity from her point of view.
But it's, Rabbi Prague, it gets very scary. I know of a case that a man was supposedly brain dead, and every doctor said, no chance, he's not coming back. And they did a divorce, something like that, and the man wakes up, and Shalom Aleichem, he's no longer married.
Oh, wow, yeah.
Oh, how did they do the divorce? The guy is brain dead.
They said there was a period, or they were Rabbanim, I don't remember. It was a whole big thing.
Wait, but he has to give that command that you have to write and give a get to, or he doesn't have to say give. He can just say you have to write a get to my wife.
Salim, can be sure that if this was a serious court, they...
But how did they do that?
I don't remember. I don't want to think about it, but I know it's just, oh my God, the man.
How did they do it if the guy's brain dead? How did they go and get that command from him?
Well, there was a period of time where he wasn't totally brain dead, whatever, and they found the reason that he could say, he will say to them, okay, let's do a divorce. But when he wakes up, Shalom Aleichem, oh my God.
Right.
Maybe
So in
he
that case,
recovered because he knew he wasn't married anymore.
That's why he was recovered. Very good, Jeffrey.
Well, wait. So wait. Is that in that case? If he woke up, he said, "I never asked you to do this." Is that mekach ta'ut on the divorce, and she's legally married?
That it's 100%. I mean, it's cute to discuss now, but if
Yeah.
it's cute beyond the doubt, of course, of course, she's not divorced.
She's not divorced, and if she married anybody, it's a problem.
What he's telling you in the case, I mean, I can imagine what happened. The man was drifting in and out. Yes.
Uh-huh.
The man realized that his wife has no chance, so he told the rabbis, I would divorce her. But so as long as he's appointing two rabbis as his messengers, now legally, whenever he's telling them, you are my shluchim to write a get on my behalf to give it to my wife. So they have to look for a time, as he said. I mean, you have, it's a very big problem.
So
It's a big problem because many husbands, are abusing the.
So this is a question because it happens if the guy tells somebody to give the get and the shaliach never gave it before the guy passed away, right? So there's a time in between it. Even if he gave it after, it's not a get anymore because the guy's already dead.
Right.
So in this case, even if he had 10 minutes of clarity, they have to deliver the get in that 10 minutes of clarity.
Yeah, but
No, do they have to? No, is there a specific
Why?
time?
Because he's a sick person. He's a shriva almost.
Salim, she cannot be divorced unless she received the get. In situations
While he's okay.
Wait. So in situations like this, the woman who is dying to get divorced, who tell a third rabbi from the court, you are my
Oh, accept it as soon as it's written.
The minute
I
gave it to him, the minute the rabbi who represents the husband as a shaliach gives it to the
I got it.
He's
It all happened at the same time.
Rabbi Prague, if I decide tonight, hypothetically, to divorce my wife, and I call the sofer, I say, write it. From the time he completes writing it, how fast do I have to use it, or it could sit in my pocket and I could wait a month?
I get a very long time. However, here's the problem. Every divorce paper has a date. So the Gemara calls it a get yashan. If you decide in 2 years to do it, yes, listen to the theoretical problem. I mean, I'm using now the case the Gemara is using. The Gemara has a phrase, Shema yechape al bat achoto. What does it mean? He is married to his niece. Married, really married. Unfortunately, she had an affair. If she had an affair, she has to be punished. He wants, listen good now, he wants to save the neck of his niece. So he writes a get with the old date. This way, when she had the affair, he tells the court he was divorced already. This is why the date is very important. Come in? This is A.
You could leave the date out. It's not the part of the thing
No, you are
leave
right.
it blank.
Okay, Salim is right. Mina Torah, the document is a kosher document, but here's another problem. Here's the other problem. From the moment she is divorced, she has the right to collect her ketubah.
Right.
If the husband sold all his real estate right before the divorce,
Right.
it depends. Who can she go and collect real estate as money for the ketubah? Depends when you wrote it. See so Rov halachot in Masechet Gittin are learned from here. Now look what happened here. V'yatza mebeito, he divorced her. She left. V'alcha v'ayita leish acher. Now the other man divorced the woman. Yes, or he died. לא יוכל בעלה הראשון אשר לקחה, אשר גירשה, אשר שלחה לשוב לקחתה להיות לו לאישה. This is a very famous halacha. a woman was legally divorced, remember, legally divorced, cannot remarry the first husband. So let's take the following scenario. A couple was married before the Holocaust. The Holocaust came 5-6 years. They're looking for each other. They couldn't find each other. They're looking all over the place. Let's assume, okay, that after many good investigations, they told the woman, your husband definitely died. Fine. She got married. It happened tens of times. A year later, the husband comes. Now, you do understand that her marriage to the second husband was never a marriage. Why?
The other man was alive.
Because she was a married woman. Ein kiddushin tofsim by a second woman. So here you cannot tell the first husband, hey, your wife was married to another man. She was not married. Maybe they lived together by mistake. I mean, married here means when the husband gave her a real divorce. She is now a free woman. Now she remarries. This is a real marriage. The second husband legally divorced her, or the second husband is not alive, then she cannot remarry. But you see, in this sad situation, I told you before, that the woman thought maybe, let's say the rabbi told her, whatever the rabbis, and if she had children with a second husband, then there's no way to cancel it, but the kid is legally a mamzer. You realize?
Right.
This is scary. It did happen a few times after the Holocaust. But you understand, people assume that if the husband did not reappear or did not send any sign of life, 2, 3, I mean, remember, the war was over in June 45, yes? It's now 1951, yes? All the papers all over the world published hundreds and hundreds of names of men and women. So, but somehow we didn't see the list. Yes, that she didn't see. Hey, it happened. Rabbi Zlatovitz, the editor of Alav Shalom, of ArtScroll, used to always say the following story. He lived, Rabbi Zlatovitz, in the Lower East Side in the beginning of his life. He says anyone that knew Rabbi Feinstein knew that he never lost his coolness, so to say. He was always calm. But everyone that was there, including him, this is the case. A woman comes to him and says to him, Rabbi, one of the biggest Torah personalities in our time, as it happened, Rabbi Feinstein knew him very well and they were very close, Rabbi Henke. After investigating well the disappearance of my husband in the Holocaust, yes, told me that I could get married. I got married. Now, my husband reappeared. So says Rabbi Zlatovitz, Moshe, not in a regular way. In Yiddish, you say he took his hand and he gave a big bang on the table. And he screamed, I mean, whatever he screamed means, but Rabbi Feinstein, Sikalizan, it's impossible. And again, Sikalizan. He says, Rabbi Feinstein says on himself, I wrote many divorce papers, and Baruch Hashem, to this type of woman, Baruch Hashem, I was not nichshal that the husband came. I don't believe that Hashem would let Rabbi Henkin make such a boo-boo. But he said it, when he said it 3 times, the woman started to cry, and she said, but you are right, Rabbi, he never told me that. I fabricated the story because I knew that I have no chance to understand. In her case, ככה היא אמרה, היא חפשתן, and I understood that רבי פייסל אמר שלא יכול להיות שיקרה דבר כזה אצל הרב הזה, כן? She says, זה לא קרה, I went to get married without really asking permission. Yeah, but you see here, we read it this Shabbos, and also the marriage is written in, yes? This is what Jewish life is about. Yeah. But you see, Kimat, every halacha is written here. Okay, guys, have a wonderful night, and Bezat Hashem, tomorrow night we'll see each other. Tomorrow morning we'll continue learning.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Mazel tov, everybody. Thank you, Rabbi.
Oh, the picture of the bar mitzvah, mom and my wife, and me, I enjoy it every second. You send before the pictures.
Oh, yeah,
Rivki and the kids, he was so
right.
so
Really special. She's home now. She's getting used to being home. It's amazing. Each one just with brachos and health. Only good news. Only good things.
Amen. Toda Rabba, Toda Rabba.
Mazel tov, everybody.
Mazel tov.